Hey, I got something to show you guys. Follow me. So I took a little trip down to Exeter. I was having a look at a few different bikes. I wanted a new cruiser. So it took me a while to choose, but I landed on this. This is my 2009 Kawasaki VN900 Custom Special Edition. So this bad boy is powered by a liquid-cooled 4-stroke, fuel-injected 903cc engine, pushing out 54 brake horsepower at 6,000 RPM and 60 pounds of torque at 3,500 RPM. Up front to stop this massive beast, we've got a 300mm front disc rocking a twin-pot caliper. On the back, to complement the front, you've got a 270mm rear disc, also with a twin-pot caliper. Now, even though it's a 2009, you don't have ABS, but you do get a 20-litre fuel tank, giving you about 200 miles of range at around 48 miles per gallon. Being a Kawasaki, you do get your positive neutral finder, so you can find neutral at a stop 100% of the time, every time. Sending power to the rear wheel, you've got a belt final drive, meaning a silky smooth deliverance of torque and power. You've got a seat height of 685mm on the stock seat, meaning it's nice and low for even the shortest of riders. I'm 5'11", I've got plenty of real estate from the floor. As my lovely assistant here will demonstrate, even a stature of 5'4" is perfectly comfortable. Both feet flat on the floor. With the relaxed seating position and the forward controls, it's a really comfortable ride. My knees are perfectly in line with the tank. On similar bikes I've found they're over the tank or nearly up in my chest. For example, the XVS 650, not comfortable for me at all. But this, spot on. Nothing crazy going on with the dash. You got a very simplistic analog clock with a digital display for mileage, fuel gauge, and a few lights for neutral, indicators, and high beams. As for the switch gears, nothing crazy here either. You got your high beams, low beams, indicator, horn. On the other side, just a kill switch and an electric start. The VN900 comes in at around 3,200 to 5,500 pounds in the second-hand market. This particular one is a 2009, as I said, with only 9,000 miles on it when I bought it. I paid just over £5,000 for it. Similar bikes in the category, for example, the Yamaha XVS 950 comes in around £3,500 to £6,000. The Harley Davidson 883 Iron comes in between £4,200 to £8,000, both depending on condition, making the VN900 one of the cheapest in its class, very reliable. And come on, look at it, the styling is just beautiful. So, let's take it for a spin. Alright, so let's do some slow speed. Let you know how she feels doing slow maneuvers. So right now I am doing about 10 miles an hour around a car park. Nothing crazy. Now the stock handlebars do leave a little bit to be desired. You've got to kind of reach when you go full lock or close to full lock. We've got to lean forward into it. I'll get myself ready. On the back brake, we're going to need a bit of clutch, go around the missus. Here we go. Simple as that. Quite a big turning circle, but I'm not very well practiced in U-turns yet. Give myself as much turn as possible. Let's do one more. I'm only really good at right hand. Try and get that as tight as possible. But hey, I almost lost my balance. Yeah, that's slow speed. Not a great turning circle, but not a bad one either. Alright, so let's take this thing out around town and see how she handles in the urban environment. Pulling away from junctions can be a little bit tricky, but that's just cruisers for you. You got to make sure you stop dead upright and pull away upright and don't turn until you're moving. That's just how cruisers are. So from factory, the stock pipes on this bike are quite quiet, so you won't be annoying anyone unless you change your pipes out. Which for some people is a good thing. Personally, I don't like it. I like a bit of noise. I like to be heard. Not in an ego kind of way, just like it has saved my life more times than I care to admit. To remedy that, you can fit aftermarket pipes, Vance & Hines, Cobra. There are some cheap AliExpress ones, but the quality pipes are in the range of £1,400 when you factor in shipping, VAT, having the lambda sensors fitted, because you've got to get the holes drilled out and tacked in. Alternatively, you can just drill out the baffles. The community call it a stage 1, where you just put some holes in the baffle, cut the end off it. Or you can go stage 2 and remove the baffle entirely. I'm not sure which one I want to do yet if I go down that route, but it'll probably be baffles out. Now I do want to create some space for me in this Jag, so I want to show you just how good this bike is at roundabouts. He's braking, I assume, to find a parking spot. What are you doing, sir? There is not a parking spot. There you go, you found one. There you go, decent enough pickup. You've got that overtaking power, a lot of torque. That's what cruisers are all about. Plenty of low down torque. Of course, I'm going to have to stop now. Alright, roundabouts. Let's do it. Right, I have no problem getting around there. Decent old lean on. In fact, there have been times where I have scraped pegs. It's very easy to get this bike a little bit too low. So I'm just cruising along at 40, no problem. I mean, it's a 900, don't know what to expect, but it's very comfortable around urban areas. It's happy on roundabouts. Back end doesn't go squirrely at all. There is just something about cruisers in the way they deliver their power that it's just so satisfying. On a sport bike, you've got to wait until you hit that power band, then you get that woof, it wants to go. On a cruiser, all that torque is ready for you as soon as you need it. So it doesn't matter how fast you're going, as soon as you rip the throttle, it's a linear delivery all the way up. This bike gets up to about 110. For a 900cc, you may be thinking, well, that's not very good. Well, it's got 50 horsepower. All of this bike relies on its torque rather than its horsepower. It's not fast, but it is comfortable. And it is fun. Round town, I would choose this bike over my Phaser every day of the week. Now this bike can handle 2 people on it surprisingly well for the size. It just flows through the corners. However, that suspension on the back, the Unitrack, it is a little stiff. If you hit a pothole going too quick, you're gonna rearrange your spine, and that's just a fact. But look at that. She just powers, she eats those corners. No problems. And you've got quite a long 5th gear. It's only a 5-speed, but that 5th gear is a cruising gear. So when you're on the motorway or highway if you're in America, or just cruising down an A road at 50, 60, that's the gear you want. It's very smooth. I'm in it now. I'm at 50 miles an hour. As soon as I get round this corner, I'll show you it still has a bit left to give. So 50 mile an hour, give it a little twist, my indicator's still on. Give her a little twist. She still picks up. Not massively quick, but she picks up. But if you do need that little bit of extra speed, dropping down to 4th or even 3rd, you won't hear any complaints out of this engine or gearbox. But hearing that thumpy V-twin go to work as soon as you power through that corner, it's just awesome. I don't know how well you can hear it on my mic, but even with that factory exhaust, it just sounds agricultural, industrial and mean. That 300mm front disc on the front isn't quite enough in my opinion. It's not quite sharp enough to stop this bike adequately. It works, but you'll find that most of the time that you're braking, you're using your back brake for that. Because the front brake it dives the front end a hell of a lot. And I would say it's, on this bike, it's more to stabilize you as you slow down with the back brake. There's a nice left hand bend here. I'm just going to trail a bit of back brake, get her over, and she goes round lovely. Yeah, I hardly use the front brake on this. The back brake is so much better even though it's a smaller disc. This is one of my favourite roads. All the trees going through it. It's like a tunnel. So nice in the summertime. Really pretty in autumn as well when all the leaves start falling off the trees, and it can get quite slippy on the floor, but it's very picturesque. Okay, so who do I think this bike is aimed at? I think possibly newer riders, someone who's just looking to get their first big cruiser. I'd say you still need a bit of experience to handle the weight of it, so maybe someone with a year or two, but this is not a bike you'll grow out of, at least not very quickly. I use it as a weekend bike. I have my Phaser as my main commuter and daily. I take this one out to bike nights and shows and things, or if I just want a nice comfortable cruise around the countryside. It's a very comfortable 2-up bike. The missus loves it, my daughter loves it. I've taken my 8-year-old out on it a few times. It's a little bit bigger than a Dragstar 650 or a V-Star 650 depending on what market you're in. But it's a bit smaller than the Suzuki M800 or the C800. It's just a little bit smaller. Here we go, overtake. So we were at 30 to start with, got her up to 60 pretty quickly. Very comfortable to overtake on. No drama at all. That was glorious. So I guess the question you guys are going to be asking is, should I buy one? Should I get a second-hand VN900? Yes, absolutely. If you can find one in good condition like mine is, barely any scuffs, well serviced. This one I'm pretty sure has been in a garage most of its life. absolutely go for it, because they are such a peach to ride. You will have no complaints whatsoever, except maybe some of the ergo. The handlebars are a little far forward. That can be remedied with custom bars or risers, which I will most likely be doing myself. You can move the pegs forward or back. You will need to buy a kit for that. And the custom seat I have on mine, thank you, it's not the stock seat on this one. It's a copy of, I think it's either a Mustang or a Saddleman. It's a little bit hard, but I've heard from a fellow VN owner that the stock seat is incredibly comfortable. You can do miles and miles and miles on it. However, there are a bunch of aftermarket seats available. Some legitimate from Saddleman and Mustang. Some are fake copies of that, which is what the previous owners put on this one. It's not terrible. The passenger seat on it is nice and comfy. Not much good for me because mine's rock hard. So absolutely, if you find a good condition one of these, go for it. You will not be disappointed.
That just about wraps up today's video, so if you enjoyed, please make sure to like and subscribe. If you want to see my other content, check out my social media in my bio or description. And as always, thank you for watching, and I'll see you in the next one.